In this video, I'm going to show you how to do factoring of polynomials. Factoring, remember, it means what can I multiply to give me this. Now, this is the greatest common factoring of polynomials, and that relies on the distributive property. The distributive property says the following. If A, parentheses, B plus C, then everything inside the parentheses gets multiplied by the outside number. So this would be A multiplied by B, A multiplied by B. Now this A is positive. A positive multiplied by a positive will give you a plus, and A multiplied by C. Okay. Now on the homework, on this homework that I'm giving you now, this is the problem. They're gonna give that to you. Okay. And your job is to tell me what was the question. So your job is to tell me what is this right here. Okay. And the way you do it is you factor the polynomial. And the way you're going to do it, you're going to do this factors of 12. Factoring means what can I multiply to give me 12? Can I use the number 1 or 12? Can I use 1 or itself? So I can use, let's say, 3 and 4. If you have a hard time with the times tables, is in this, if you go to Google Classroom, mainly you go in Stream, but if you go to About, in there, there's the times tables. You can click on them and you can use the times tables, okay? So for example, this is your times tables. Now, something you should know about the times tables is the following. If you look at the numbers that they're giving you, is you should know the following, okay? If you look at the number 2, 3, 5, some numbers are different from other numbers, okay? They tend to be darker and they're slightly leaning to the side. That means that these numbers are prime. So 2 will be prime, 3 will be prime, 5, 7, 11, 13, 17, 19, 23, 29, 31. These are the prime numbers, okay? So what I'm doing is I'm doing the following. What can I multiply to give me 12? I can use 2 and 3, 3 and 4. Do it again. Factors of 3, can I use 1 or 3? That is prime. Factors of 4, can I use 1 or 4? That'll be 2 and 2. Factors of 2, can I use 1 or 2? Cannot do it. If you cannot do it, the number will be prime. So instead of writing negative 12, I'm gonna write negative and the numbers that I got. Put these numbers in order. 2 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 3. Those are the prime numbers. And multiply by n minus, and factors of 4 will be 2 multiplied by 2. Factors of 2 cannot use 1 or 2, cannot do it. So those will be prime. So instead of 4, I'm going to write 2 multiplied by 2. Now, once you do the factoring, you're going to do the following. There are two terms, term number 1 and term number 2. I want to see what they have in common. Okay, they have a 2 in common. They have another 2 in common. And they have a negative in common. So I'm going to put what they have in common. They have a negative in common. They have a 2 and another 2. Then I'm going to put the leftovers in the parentheses. Okay. If I take the negative and the 2's out, what I have is 3 times n left over. Then there's nothing left over here. It should be a plus. If there's no number left, we put a 1 in there. So that answer would be 2 times 2 is 4. Negative 4 multiplied by parentheses 3 times n will give you 3n plus 1. So that is the answer. Okay. They gave me this, which is the answer, and I said this was the original problem. Okay. That's how you do it. Okay. Example number 2. It looks slightly more complicated because it has three terms, but it is the same idea. And here's the way you do it. Factors of 14, can I use 1 or 14? 2 and 7. Factors of 2, can I use 1 or 2? Can't do it, so that tells me that it's prime. Factors of 7, can I use 1 or 7? That will be prime. So 2 and 7 is prime. If you look at the times tables that we have in here, 2 is prime and 7 is prime, so that is correct. So what I can do is I can write this as 2 multiplied by 7, and this tells me there is 4 y's. Okay, so I'm gonna do multiply by y, 2, 3, 4 y's, and 1 x. Now plus, because there's a plus in here, factors of 6, can I use 1 or 6? I can use 2 and 3. Factors of 2, can I use 1 or 2? Can do it, so that is prime. Factors of 3, can I use 1 or 3? Prime. So this would be 2 multiplied by 3 and 2 y's, 1, 2, plus 2 is prime already, cannot be factors, so that'll be 2 and multiply by y. Now in this case, there are three terms, 1, 2, 3. Now what do they have in common? They have a y in common. They all have 1 y. They all have a 2 in common. So what they have in common is they have in common a factor of 2 and a factor of y. Then parentheses with leftovers. If I take out the 2 and the y, what's left over here is a 7. Multiplied by y, multiplied by y, multiplied by y, and 1x. Plus what's left over here will be 3 multiplied by y. If I take out the 2 and the y, 3y is left over. Now the last term was left over. There's nothing left over, so we put a 1. If there's nothing left over, we put a 1. So 2 multiplied by y will give you 2y, parentheses, 7, and y, there's 1, 2, 3 of them. So y cubed multiplied by x plus 3 times y will give you 3y plus 1. Okay, so that's the answer. That's what I was looking for. Okay. Next problem is same as before, but slightly more complicated because there are 4 terms, but the idea is the same. Factors of 4 will be, can I use 1 or 4? That will be 2 multiplied by 2. Factors of 2, can I use 2? Those will be prime, so I can write instead of 4, I can write 2 multiplied by 2 multiplied by x multiplied by x, and there are 2 y's. Okay, now there should be a minus in here because there is a minus in here. Factors of 9, cannot use 1 or 9. That would be 3 and 3. Factors of 3, can I use 1 or 3? They will be prime. So instead of 9, I'm going to write 3 multiplied by 3. And this tells me there's 2 x's, 1, 2, and there's 2 c's, 1, 2, minus 5 is prime. If you look at your times tables, 5 is prime. So I cannot break it down, but there's 1x multiplied by c. And then factors minus, because of that, factors of 4 will be 2 multiplied by 2, and those are prime. So I can write this as 2 multiplied by 2. Now there's four terms, one, two, three, four. Let's see if there's anything that they have in common. Okay, he does have a 2, so they have nothing in common. So in this case, the answer will be prime. What you're saying is the expression, it's prime, cannot be factored. Let me give you an example that you understand. Let's say we have the number 13, and they ask you, what are the factors of 13? Can I use 1 or 13? You can do it, okay? So the answer for that will be prime. What you're saying, 13 is a prime number, cannot be factored. Okay, same idea. If you try to factor this, it won't work. So that will be a prime expression. Last one, same method. Factors of 21, can I use 1 or 21? That'll be 3 and 7. Factors of 3, can I use 1 or 3? Can do it, so that's prime. Factors of 7, can I use 1 or 7? That is also prime. So I can write this as 3 multiplied by 7. There is one x and there is one y, and there should be a plus. Factors of 14, can I use 1 or 14? 2 and 7. Factors of 2, can I use 1 or 2? Can't do it, so that's prime. Factors of 7, can I use 1 or 7? Cannot do it, so that's also prime. So I can write this as 2 multiplied by 7 multiplied by x plus factors of 9. Can I use 1 or 9? I can use 3 and 3 is prime. So I'm going to get 3 multiplied by 3, and there should be 2 y's. Y multiplied by y plus factors of 6 will be 2 multiplied by 3, and they are both prime. So I can write this as 2 multiplied by 3 multiplied by y. Now let's see if there's something that all four terms have in common. He has a 2, there's no 2 here. He has a 3. He has a 3, but there's no 3 in here. Y, yes, no. So if you notice, they have nothing in common. But this is done by grouping. If you look at the first two and the last two together, then you do the following. Do these have something in common? Yes, they do. They have 7x in common. Not all of them, but only the first two. Okay, so what they have in common, I write it outside. Then what's left over, I write it inside. If I take it at 7 and the x, what's left over is 3 multiplied by y. Then plus, take out the 7 and the x, there's a 2 left over, parentheses. Plus, is there anything that these two have in common? Yes, they do. They have a 3 times y in common, both of them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write 3 multiplied by y, then parentheses. If I take out the 3 and the y, what's left over is another 3 multiplied by y. If I take out the 3y, what's left over is the plus 2. Now, what you're supposed to do is look at the whole thing and ask yourself, is there anything that they have in common? The first one and the last one has a factor of parentheses 3y and plus 2. It's the same for both of them. So what I'm going to do is I put outside what they have in common. They have parentheses 3 multiplied by y plus 2 in common. Then I put parentheses again. Then I put the leftovers. Okay, what's left over in here is 7 multiplied by x. And if I take out the parentheses, what's left over is 3 multiplied by y. Now 3 times y will give you 3y plus 2. And this will be 7x plus 3y, and that's what they have in common. Okay, this is called a grouping method. Now for the grouping method, you have to have four terms, one term, second term, three term, and fourth term. Okay, I don't think we'll give you one where there's six terms, but it should be a multiple to fours, six, or eights. Okay, try the homework and any questions, ask me in class. Okay, thank you.